I will try to explain to you as easy as possible how Carlotta works. You might have seen these things on the screen when you have been playing with her or videos of it, but you still don't know what's exactly happening and why it's happening. So let's build our knowledge schema. The thing you want to do with Carlotta is this. 1. You want to cast a strong heavy attack of Carlotta. When can we cast this strong heavy attack? We can cast it when this forte bar is maxed. So if it is maxed, we now have the ability to use a strong heavy attack. But another thing that also happens when the forte gauge is maxed is that we get a buff, which is this one, which basically means your ult will do a lot of damage now. So these two things will happen when your forte gauge is maxed. You get this buff, which makes your ult do more damage, and other is you have a stronger heavy attack available. But how do I max this forte gauge then? Well, that happens when you gain substance, is what is called. And that is this blue thing right here. So when this substance is maxed, I have the ability to do a stronger heavy attack, and I get a buff which says your ult does more damage now. Well, alright then. How do I gain this substance then? Well, you gain this substance when you consume crystals. And if you consume crystals, you gain substance. What are crystals? Well, that is this thing beside Carlotta. And it's the same thing you will see above your forte bar when in battle. So these two are basically the same. You see 3 stacks here, 3 stacks here. And you can have max 6 crystals at a time. Alright? So, alright then. How do I gain the crystals then? Well, luckily for us, to gain crystals, there are many ways. One way is when we use our intro, then we gain crystals. The other way is when we use just our normal heavy attack. So not this special strong heavy attack which is used when you have your substance maxed. Another way is when you do basic attack 2. And basic attack 2 is basically the basic attack that comes immediately after basic attack 1. Another way is when you use your skill 1, since Carlotta has 2 skill usages. So when you press skill, that is the first cast, skill 1, and when you press skill again, that is skill 2. Alright? The other way is when you do a basic attack immediately after a mid-air attack. A mid-air attack is basically when you're in the air and you press basic attack, you will do a mid-air attack. So mid-air attacking is basically plunging. And the last way to gain crystals is when you just do a dodge. Alright, so this is what we got. You gain crystals these ways. You can consume those crystals to gain substance. And when you have gained substance, and if it is maxed out, you get a ult damage buff and your heavy attack will now do more damage. But the thing with the strong basic attack is that it will be even stronger if this thing right here is available. And this thing appears every 22 seconds. And it just happens automatically. And it basically means that this thing right here becomes red. And it happens every 22 seconds. You got to do nothing for it. When you use a strong heavy attack, when this thing is red, that means your heavy attack will be even way stronger. But regardless whether you use a heavy attack using this normal heavy attack, which is just a bit stronger, or the special heavy attack, which is a lot stronger with this red crystal, regardless of which heavy attack you use of those two, they will both reduce your skill cooldown by 6. That is pretty neat. But doing all of this doesn't come for free, since when you use your strong heavy attack, that means your substance all will be removed. So I will say it like -X. X as in all your substance will be removed. And that is an interesting thing to note, since when you cast your ult, regardless with this ult damage bonus or not, it will also reduce your substance. So that naturally means before you cast your ult, you want to do this heavy attack first, so that when you cast your ult first, you won't have any substance anymore left for that strong heavy attack. So strong heavy attack first, favorably the stronger heavy attack, which should naturally happen since it just automatically regenerates every 22 seconds. Then you do your ult and voila, that's the whole purpose of Carlotta regarding her main damage. So alright, we got this flow. We gain crystals. This way, we can consume them. We gain substance. If the substance is maxed, we can do a strong heavy attack, and it will be even stronger if our blue crystal is red. And after that, we will cast our ult, because when substance is maxed, we just get a free ult damage bonus. We ult and voila. That's the thing. But we are missing a piece, and that is, how do we consume our crystals then to convert them into substance? Well, there are 3 ways to consume crystals. The first way is when you use skill 2. So the skill that is available after you cast your skill the first time. The other way is when you do basic attack 3, 4 or 5. But to be able to cast basic attack 3, 4 or 5, it is a requirement that there should be crystals. Since you can also cast skill 2 when there are no crystals available. So to cast basic attack 3, 4 or 5, you need to have crystals available to be able to consume it. Since if you don't have crystals and you cast basic attack, then it automatically casts basic attack 1, then 2. Alright, I have made some space for the third option. So if you do a dodge counter attack, you will also gain crystals. And of course, a dodge counter is available after you dodge. So there are 3 ways to directly consume crystals to convert them into substance. But the special thing about intro is that it also gives you immediately substance. And that's the only way to directly gain substance. There's no other way to directly gain substance. And how much substance do I get then? That is plus 30 substance. So what is the max? 120 substance. So if we go to the left side here, so we got 120 substance max and we get 30 from intro, that is equal to a 25% gain of the total. And we can remove this 120 here since it already is here. And plus 30 substance is also equal to minus 3 crystals. And I will denote crystals with the orange color. So every 3 crystals consumed, I will gain 30 substance, which is equal to a 25% total gain of substance. So how much does skill 2 then consume regarding crystals? That is everything. Skill 2 consumes all crystals you have available. And the max crystals you have available is 6, as you can see right here. So how much crystals do I then consume when I do basic attack 3, 4 and 5? Well, that is minus 1 the whole time. So minus 1 crystal the whole time. And how much substance is that then? Well, that is equal to 10 substance then, naturally, since divided by 3. When I do a dodge counter attack then, that is also 1. So you get 10 substance because you consume 1 crystal. So then you already immediately see that using intro skill and skill 2 is the best way to gain substance compared to the basic attack 1 and the dodge counter 1. But first, let's complete our gain crystal part first. And that is, how much crystals do I get when I cast an heavy attack? Basic attack 2, or my skill 1, or the basic attack I immediately cast after I have plunged, or when I do a dodge. How much crystals do I get then? Well, for all of these things, you get 3 crystals always. And of course, for the intro skill, also 3 crystals. You always gain 3 crystals every time. There is no other way to gain crystals. So there are no ways to gain 1 crystal or 2 crystals or 6 crystals at a time. It always goes in 3, 3, 3. But consuming crystals is not possible in groups of 3. And the worst way to consume crystals, of course, as we said earlier, the basic attack ones and the dodge counter. Since the skill consumes everything and intro immediately gives substance. Easy. Another thing I quickly want to mention to you too is this. When you cast your ult, you lose your substance, but also all your crystals. And the thing is, when you're in that ult stage, so you do that cool ult animation, then you got like a couple of shots of ult, then you do another cool ult animation. During that whole time when you're doing ult, it is not possible for you to gain substance or crystals. So it is basically locked. There is no way for you to gain any of them when doing an ult. So when you cast your ult, you lose them, you lose all your crystals and substance, and you cannot gain any of them. So it basically starts from 0. Alright then, now we know all of this. How can we do our Carlotta rotation then? Well, let's go through a scenario first then. Let's assume we start our Carlotta rotation with 0 substance, with 0 crystals, just from blank. What would be the first thing that we need to do then? Well, that is to generate substance, to max it, so we can use our super strong heavy attack with this red crystal, assuming it's available. And then immediately after that, we want to cast our ult, because we got that cool damage bonus. The first thing that would pop into your mind is immediately get 6 crystals, consume all of them. Then that means we are already 50% full, so that when we switch out to our other teammates, our skill cooldown can come back up in the meantime. And now we switch into Carlotta with her intro skill, we max her substance, and we're good to go. That is correct, but we don't need to generate 6 crystals at the start when we have 0 substance and crystals. That is because of the very nice intro skill. So let's go through a scenario. So we start with 0 crystals and 0% substance. Alright, I don't want to generate 6 crystals. And why? You will see as we go through the scenario. What I want to do immediately when I have this scenario is I want to cast my skill 1. Bam. That means I got 3 crystals now. Then we go to the consume crystals part, and I will cast my skill 2 immediately. That means I got 0 crystals left and 25% substance. That's the situation we are in now. But a quick thing to note about skill is this. When we cast our skill, we are basically flying like, ooh, like this. You don't want to end up in this spot right here, like this wall landing time. It takes too much time. There are 2 things you can do when you cast our skill 2. One is you can, at the very start of her skill 2 animation, switch out to your other team members. The other thing you can do is, during skill 2 is, 1. Switch out Carlotta at the top part of her animation with an ally. 2. You can cast your echo skill. 3. You can plunge. But when you plunge, it doesn't mean you have to cast your basic attack after that. That's not a necessity. You can also cast your super strong heavy attack too. It's just that when you're in the air, just cast basic attack, which is equal to a mid-air attack. So you plunge, and after that, when you're on the ground, you can do whatever you want. If you want to generate crystals, you can just do a basic attack, or you can just cast your heavy attack, or this heavy attack, or continue with your wall basic attack sequence. But the thing that we mostly do after we plunge is a heavy attack. So going back, you can do 3 things when you're in the air with Carlotta. Switch out to a character, do an echo skill, or just plunge. But interesting thing is, you can cast your echo and switch out to an ally. So that means your ally will be in the air now. So that is a thing you need to keep in mind. Do you want your ally to be in the air when you switch out to him? If you don't want that, you can do the animation cancel at the start here, switch out to your ally, and the Carlotta skill will just happen. She will do her wall jumping thingy. But this is an option you can do. So going back to our scenario now, finally, we did skill 1. We got 3 crystals, still 0 substance. The second step, we cast our skill. What are we going to decide to do with this skill? Are we going to switch out? Are we going to plunge? Are we going to cast our echo in the air and switch out to an ally then? Well, one thing is for certain, you want to switch out. And depending on the team, whether you want your ally that is switch out to be in the air or on the ground, you need to make that decision. But in our case, let's say we just want animation cancel, switch out. So we choose this option. So now we are switched out to our other teammate. Let's say Verena. She does her thing, then Zazie does her thing, and a couple of seconds have passed, and the cooldown of our skill is actually the second we start our skill 1, the cooldown is 14 seconds. So you want to have 14 seconds passed. So we have done our teammate thingy here. We switch out. Verena, however, do her things for 14 seconds. Then we come to Carlotta, and she must cast her intro skill. That's literally the best thing about her wall substance generation cycle, since we get 30 substance freely and we get 3 crystals. So what do we have when we cast our intro, or step 4? We have 3 crystals now, and our substance is now 50%, because on step 2 we had it at 25%. So now what do we do? Well, assuming 14 seconds have passed, which is what you always want to happen basically when you switch on to Carlotta, so you can immediately do her skills, which we will do now too. So step 5 is another skill usage of Carlotta. So how much do we have now? 6, because we had 3 when we introed. How much substance do we have? Still 50%, because we haven't consumed any crystals yet. Now what do we do? Well, we can do skill 2 immediately now 2 again. So we go to skill 2. How much crystals do we have? We have 6, and skill 2 consumes all your crystals you have available. That's why minus X. So you are left with 0 crystals, but our substance, because the exchange rate is like this, is now 100%. Yeah, this 0, by the way, 100%. What do we do now? We cast our skill 2. Now we are about to go through this whole journey of our skill 2. What do we do when? Well, we want to cast Carlotta's heavy attack now. Since our substance is now at 100%, that means this is the case now, which gives us a strong heavy attack and a lot of ult damage bonus. And during her wall step 1, step 2 thing, our crystal is red now, since I assume 22 seconds have passed easily. We want to do our heavy attack, but we're casting our skill 2 now. So what we want to do is follow this path now. Do a plunge. So we are in the air, we are in this part right here. We plunge, do our mid-air attack. We are on the ground now, and instead of casting basic attack, since we don't need crystals anymore, since we already have 100% substance, we want to cast our heavy attack. So let's annotate this as step 7. So we want to do our plunge. We are still here, so 7. Instead of casting basic attack, we immediately cast our strong heavy attack. which means we will have 0% substance left because of this minus X, since casting a heavy attack when you have 100% substance consumes all your substance, and we still have 0 crystals. So voila, we did our strong heavy attack using this beautiful buff, which makes our heavy attack do a cooler animation and more damage. Now we immediately want to cast our ult, since we got this damage bonus, because our substance was maxed. And when we cast our ult, we lose all our substance and crystals. It doesn't matter since you already had 0 of each of them. Like I said, you can also cast ult without having your substance maxed, but you will lose on this beautiful damage bonus. So you never want to do that actually. Always cast your ult when you have this damage bonus, which you can get when your substance is maxed. So now we have done our ult. What now? Well, the thing with Carlotta's Echo is that it gets this super cool other animation when you have done a couple of ult things. And that is also easily animation cancelable. So now what you want to do with Carlotta is this. We have done our ult, but before we did her ult, we did a heavy attack. And what do we know about the heavy attack is that it reduces Carlotta's skill by -6. So that means our skill should be up now. So what do? We go to step 10, we cast our skill, and the whole cycle starts again, since we are now starting from 0, just like step 1. We got 0 crystals and 0% substance. But one different thing that we can do now, because we casted Carlotta's ult on step 9, is that we can now decide to go for this path when we cast our skill 2. So we do step 10, just like with step 2, we want to do her skill 2, still 0 crystals, and now 25% substance, just like step 2. Because her Echo is special of Carlotta, since it has this whole cool mechanic, which we can easily animation cancel, because we casted her ult recently, we go for our step 12 for this path. So we cast skill 2, so step 11, we are at this peak, we cast her Echo, which we can animation cancel immediately to an ally, and then the whole cycle starts again. Our allies do their thing, we go to Carlotta's intro again, and the whole cycle starts again, since we start with the same things just like with step 4. And that is the whole flow of Carlotta basically, this beautiful flow. But of course in practice not everything goes as smoothly as this, since we got to dodge, we got to take hits sometimes because we aren't perfect players, things happen. Or a teammate's auto skill is available, meaning Carlotta cannot do her intro skill, but her intro skill is quite necessary to immediately regenerate substance. So what you can do then is just switch to Carlotta, she hasn't cast her intro, you just do a couple of dodges here and there, because the boss is like attacking a billion times. So you do a lot of dodge counter attacks you with Carlotta, meaning you now suddenly have 100% substance, that's possible too. And then you just do her strong heavy attack, favorably with the red crystal available, and then you do her ult, that's possible too. So without using intro skill, because in practice things don't always go that smoothly. But favorably, you want to follow this wall flow by using Carlotta's intro skill. And that's the whole flow of Carlotta basically. I hope I have made things a bit more easier for you to understand why Carlotta does what she does. So I thank you for your time and see you the next time. Bye.